Hello, welcome to Algebra Online. Today we are solving systems by using the elimination method. Before we even get into that though, I want to test your exponent skills. Take a look at our opener problem down here below. Can you simplify that? Yes, you can. I know you can. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at the big 2 out front. And then you also have another nice big 3 right there. So we are going to multiply 2 times 3, which is going to give us 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other variables. I'm going to look at y's just because I noticed that I have 2 of them. And when we have the same base, we add exponents. So I know I have y to the 5th power. So then it leaves me with x to the negative 1. Well, I know that I cannot have a negative exponent. So therefore, I need to draw a fraction and bring it to the denominator. And it is x to the positive 1, but we don't need to write that. And then this is your final simplified solution or answer. Okay, cool. Let's get down to it. I want you to give yourself a nice big title for today. We are doing the elimination method with solving systems, and we have 5 examples for today. All right, so take a minute and please copy this down, write it real nice and before we get started. And I want to talk to you about why we would want to use the elimination method to solve this system. I want you to notice that both equations are written in standard form. Unlike the other examples that we've had previous, we do not have a y or an x by itself on either side of the equation. And if you also take a look, our x's, if you look vertically, straight up and down, they're like in the same line here. Your nice number over here equals, you have the y's, 5y, 5x, 5x, and so they kind of line up really nicely because this first equation is in standard form and this equation is also in standard form. So to solve by using the elimination method, we are going to eliminate one of the variables. Now I'm going to choose to eliminate x first. Well, because if you take a look straight up and down, right, if you were to add straight up and down, 5x minus 5x, they cancel. They eliminate. We've eliminated the x. Now, if we say y plus 5y, that's going to give us 6y. And 35 plus a negative 5 is going to give us a positive 30. And then just simply divide by 6. Hey, we have y equals 5. Now you know that that's only half of the answer that we need because when we solve systems, it's the point of intersection of the 2 lines. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I write 5 in the place where y goes for our coordinate point. So now what do you do next? Well, you can choose to take this 5 for y and plug it in here to the second equation, or you can plug it in here to the first equation. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer either way. I'm going to choose to plug it into the first equation. Looks like there might be less steps. So I'm going to fully write it out. 5x plus y equals 35. I recommend not skipping that step too much when you're first starting out. I know it seems tedious to rewrite it over again, but these problems can kind of get long, and it will help you keep yourself organized if you do rewrite some things over again. Okay, so now instead of this y right here, I'm going to plug in what y is. Y is 5. So I have 5x plus 5 equals 35, and then I'm going to simply solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 5 from each side. I have 5x equals 30, and when I divide each side by 5, I have found that x equals 6. So the solution to this system is the point 6, 5. That's where those 2 lines intersect. Not bad. How are you feeling about the elimination method? Okay, it's the first time you're seeing it. So totally understandable. Let's go ahead and do one again. So here is example number 2. Make sure you pause me and write this problem down first. So that way you have it all on your paper before you listen to me and press play. Okay, pause me, press play. Okay, cool. So I want you to take a look and see where you have the same variable and the same number but different signs. And that would be the x's. So you have a negative 10x and a positive 10x, and therefore if I add straight up and down, those are going to cancel. So that's awesome. So I am going to cancel negative 10x plus 10x goes away, and I have a negative y plus a 7y gives me a 6y, and then I have negative 29 plus a 23, and that is going to give us a -6. Cool. And so now let's just divide by 6, and y is a -1. So I'm going to go ahead, write down my coordinate, put -1 where it goes, and now we need to solve for x. Which equation do you want to use? First one, second one? I'm going to use the first one, and I don't know if it's easier or not. It's just what my brain seen first, and so if you want the second one, go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out. -10x minus y equals a -29, and then wherever I see the y, I'm going to plug in a -1. So I have -10x, and then I notice that I have a negative and a -1. So that's going to change to a positive, equals -29. So -10x plus 1 equals a -29, and I'm going to subtract that 1 to the other side. So I have -10x equals a -30, and when I divide by 10 on each side, a negative divided by negative is a positive, and x will give us 3. So therefore, the solution is the point 3, -1. All right, so I think we're ready to take it maybe a little bit a next level of difficulty. So go ahead and write down this example. And when you were writing it down, what did you notice? Did you notice that it was -6x and a -6x, and that we can't cancel right away because a -6x and a -6x gives us a -12x? And so we need to do a little manipulation to be able to get the x's to cancel. So what we need to do is we need to subtract. Instead of add straight up and down, we are going to subtract. And let me tell you why. What's a negative and a negative? A positive. So this is going to become a positive 6x, and now they're going to cancel. You just need to remember that this negative goes to every single term in order to keep this equals true. So what I'm going to do is, and sometimes other colors help when things get really messy and kind of big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, these will cancel. This becomes a positive because a negative times negative is a positive, and then this negative goes to the 4. So now what I'm able to do is I'm able to add straight up and down. So now I have 5y and a plus 10y, and that is a 15y, equals, and then I have 34 minus 4, which is 30. Now you just need to simply divide by 15, and we have isolated y, and y is 2. So I'm going to write off to the side that we have found y, part of the coordinate, and that is 2. So now the next step is to simply plug in y for either equation. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to stick with the first one. That's what I've been doing so far. So I have -6x plus 5y equals 34. And I'm going to plug the 2 in for y. So I have -6x, and that's going to become 5 times 2. And if you're comfortable, I'm just going to say it's 10. Equals 34. Now I can subtract the 10 to the other side, and when I do that I have -6x equals 24. Yeah, perfect. And then when I divide by 6, I have x is a -4. All right, how are you guys liking elimination method? Good. I want to also remind you that when you're to use the elimination method, both equations have to be in standard form, right? Both the x and the y have to be on the same side of the equal sign in order to use the elimination method. If they are not both on the same side and the equals lines up and the number without that variable, right, that constant is by itself, they line up perfectly, then you can use the elimination method. And we'll talk about strategies when we work together with a whole bunch on one paper. Okay, so hopefully you've had enough time to write that down. If not, pause me, write it down, and if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Ooh, do you notice something about this problem? I'm hoping you do. We got nothing canceling, right? The x's, no go. The y's, no go. So we don't have a variable to eliminate. Can we make a variable eliminate? For sure, absolutely we can. So this becomes entirely your choice. If we decided to multiply this first equation by -2, right? -2, then it would cancel with this 4, because this would become -4, and we could cancel. Could you multiply this 3 by a -3? Absolutely. A -3 times a -3 is a -9, and then these will cancel. These will eliminate. The y's will eliminate. So ultimately, the choice is up to you, what you decide to do. I'm deciding that I'm going to multiply the first equation by -2. And when you do that, you need to make sure that this -2 multiplies every single term. And what I also like to do is to rewrite that equation after I have multiplied it. And what I'm going to choose to do is I'm going to write it below the second one. So -2 times 2x is a -4x. I just multiplied these two. Then a -2 times 3, that's a -6y, equals a -2 times a -2, that is a +4. Now, when I went ahead and changed the first equation, I like to just draw a line through it. Visually, it helps me say that that one is all done and I need to look at the other two. So now when I do that, I can now add straight up and down, cancel the x's. This is going to become a 3y equals 28. And when you divide by 3, why did I say 28? That's not 28, that's 18. I don't know why I did that. Y equals 6. All right, you with me? Cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and draw our point here. And the 6 goes second because we have found the y. So now you need to decide where you want to plug in the y to solve for x. Your choice, ultimately. You could go back to this original problem, the 2x plus 3y equals a -2. You definitely can. You can plug it into the 4x plus 9y equals 14, for sure. You could even plug it into the new one that you created by multiplying by -2. So totally your choice. I'm going to choose to use the first equation that we manipulated and multiplied by -2. So I'm going to rewrite it out. It's 2x plus 3y equals a -2. Now I chose that one because all the numbers are smaller than the other one, so it's essentially maybe easier. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in 6 for y, so 3 times 6 minus 2, right? You're going to take y and plug it in. And so then I have 2x plus, that is 18, equals a -2, and I'm going to subtract the 18 to the other side. So 2x equals a -20, and then when I divide by 2, x is a -10. -10. So the solution to this system is the point -10, 6. All right, are you ready to try one on your own? It's the last problem, why not, right? So go ahead and pause this video, take a look at make an observation, I guess, and decide what you think you should do. All right. I wonder what you did. I wonder, did you multiply the second equation by a -5? Because -5 times 3 is a -15, and they will cancel. Remember, you need opposite signs. Or did you multiply this second equation by a -2? Because a -2 times a -2 is a +4, and the y's will cancel. Did you do that? I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and try it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the second equation by -2. And when I do that, I'm going to rewrite what that equation is below this first one. So this is going to be a -6x. This is going to become a +4y. And this is going to become a positive, what is this, 32? Good. Now, I'm just going to draw a line straight through this. I'm going to forget about it. It's gone. And I will now look at these two equations. So what I have now is 15x minus 6x, and that is going to give us 9x. So I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to write 9x. -4y plus 4y, they cancel, and it's going to equal a -50 plus 32 is a -18. So now we can divide by 9. and x is a -2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my point here, and I'm going to put -2 in the x position. So now we need to plug in x into any of the equations, and I'm going to choose the one that we changed, the 3x, the -2y, and then the equals the -16. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can erase this a little bit, give myself some room, draw a line straight here, and I'm going to rewrite it. 3x minus 2y equals a -16. And I'm going to plug in this -2 in for x. So 3 times -2, that's going to give us a -6 minus 2y equals a -16. And I'm going to add the 6 to each side. So you have -2y equals a -10. And when you divide by -2, y looks like a +5. Negative divided by negative is a +5. So the solution to this system is the point -2, 5. Now, if you went ahead and did it a different way and you plugged it into the first one, you plugged it into the equation that we changed, and you still got 5, you did it awesome, and I'm very proud of you. And that's the beauty about math, right? There's so many different ways to solve a problem, and it's what works for you. So I hope that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.